Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There are some moments in life when you don't need a paragraph, you don't need a lecture, you don't need a full-on presentation. Sometimes all you need is one sentence, one powerful line. And if you say it at the right time, in the right tone, with the right confidence, that man will never, ever forget it. A powerful truth said with confidence can change how a man sees you forever. And that's something most people don't fully understand. We live in a world where everyone talks too much, repeats themselves too much, and explains themselves far more than necessary. But the real power isn't in how many words you say, it's in how you say the right thing at the right moment. That's the kind of thing that gets locked into a man's mind. Men don't carry around every little detail, every little sentence you ever speak, but there are rare, specific moments in life when a woman says something that strikes a man so deep that it reroutes his thinking. And it happens not because she yelled, not because she argued, but because she spoke a truth with pure confidence. When a man hears that kind of honesty, everything inside him shifts a little. What men respond to more than anything is certainty. When a woman speaks from a place of grounded strength, her words carry a kind of weight you can't teach. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, it's calm, it's steady. It's a woman standing in the truth of who she is and what she deserves. That's the moment a man stops, pays attention, and remembers. And that memory doesn't fade because it wasn't just words, it was energy, it was presence. It was the rare experience of being spoken to by someone who truly believes in what she's saying. A woman like that isn't trying to convince anybody. She's not talking just to fill the silence. She's saying exactly what she means without fear and without apology. And that is unforgettable. A lot of women don't realize how deeply men are affected by confidence. Not loud confidence, not show-off confidence, but quiet, unshakable confidence. When a woman says a powerful truth once, and she says it with steady clarity, a man hears it differently. He hears it as something that came from her spirit, not her frustration. He hears it as something she's already decided, something she's not asking permission for. And the moment a man realizes a woman means what she says, his whole behavior starts adjusting around that truth. Sometimes that one sentence becomes the thing he repeats to himself when he wakes up the next morning. Sometimes it becomes the reminder he carries when he's tempted to mess around or act lazy or take her for granted. Sometimes that truth becomes the line he hears replaying in the back of his long after she's walked away from the conversation. And the reason it stays isn't because she forced it. It stays because it came from real strength, the kind of strength that doesn't shout, the kind that simply exists. A powerful truth spoken once is like a seed planted right in the center of his mind. It grows, it expands, it keeps echoing back to him, shaping how he sees her and how he sees himself. And that's why when a woman speaks her truth with confidence, she doesn't need to repeat it. A real man will remember it for the rest of his life. Men remember the words that touch their pride, their purpose, or their heart, not the long speeches that get tossed at them day after day. That's something a lot of people overlook. You can talk for an hour, you can explain yourself 10 different ways, but the truth is that a man will only hold on to the lines that hit him in a place he doesn't usually let people reach. See, men carry their pride like armor, their purpose like a compass, and their heart like a lockbox. When a woman speaks a sentence that slips past all three of those layers, that's when he feels it. And feeling something is the only reason a man remembers anything. That's why it doesn't take paragraphs or long emotional explanations to leave an impact. It takes one powerful, meaningful line delivered at just the right emotional temperature. When a woman speaks into a man's pride with respect, it changes something in him. Pride isn't a bad thing. It's the part of him that wants to be seen as capable, dependable, and valued. When a woman says something that acknowledges his effort or calls him to step into his best self, it echoes in his mind long after the moment is gone. Not because she bragged on him, but because she recognized something in him that he wants the world to see. And once a man feels recognized, her words become a part of his motivation. He starts thinking, if she believes I better not let her down. A small sentence becomes the fuel behind bigger actions. Then there's purpose, the part of a man that tells him who he is and what he's supposed to be doing in life. And believe it or not, one sentence from the right woman can reconnect him to that purpose in a way he hasn't felt in years. Men get lost sometimes. They drift. They doubt themselves. They forget why they started that dream in the first place. But when she says something that taps into that fire, something like reminding him he's meant for more than he's settling for, those words stick. They stick because they wake something up. They make him sit with himself and ask, am I really living like the man I'm supposed to be? And once a man starts asking that question, everything changes. And then there's the heart, the place men protect the most. A lot of men walk around acting tough, not because they're strong, but because they're scared somebody will find the soft parts. But when a woman speaks something honest and gentle into that soft place, that's when he feels it the deepest. That's when he remembers it the longest. He'll forget the arguments, the lectures, the emotional overwhelm, but he will never forget the moment she said something that made him feel seen, safe, or understood. Men don't get that often. So when it happens, it becomes a memory he carries forward. That's why one sincere, well-placed sentence can shape the way a man sees her, sees himself, and sees the whole relationship. Not because she tried hard, but because she spoke to the places inside him he never shows anyone. A woman who speaks with calm strength leaves the deepest impact, and that's one of the biggest truths people overlook. Everybody thinks power comes from volume, from attitude, from snapping back and proving a point. But real power is quiet. Real power is steady. Real power is the woman who doesn't need to raise her voice to raise her value. When a woman speaks from a place of calmness, it hits different. It lands in a man's mind with clarity instead of chaos. And the thing about clarity is that it sticks. Men might tune out noise, but they tune into certainty. And calm certainty is unforgettable. There's something almost magnetic about a woman who can express her feelings without exploding, who can tell you what she needs without shaking, who can call out what she sees without attacking. That calm strength makes a man stop. It makes him listen. It makes him pay attention in a way loud words never could. Because there's confidence in calm, there's self-respect in calm. A woman with calm strength is telling you, without even saying it directly, I know my worth. I don't need to fight for it. I already own it. And men feel that. They feel it in the tone, in the posture, in the energy. It becomes a moment that imprints itself on their memory. Men aren't wired to handle emotional storms. When things get too loud, too chaotic, their minds shut down. They hear noise, not meaning. But when a woman speaks with steadiness, everything inside a man settles enough for the truth to sink in. And that's when her words start shaping his behavior. Calm strength doesn't challenge a man's ego. It challenges his character. It makes him want to step up, not fight back. It doesn't make him defensive. It makes him reflective. And that shift is powerful. There's also a kind of maturity in calm strength that tells a man you're not coming from fear, insecurity, or desperation. You're coming from a place of self-awareness. And self-awareness is attractive. It's rare. It's inspiring. When a woman talks from that place, a man doesn't forget it because she becomes the standard he never knew he needed. She becomes the voice in his mind, reminding him what respect sounds like, what grace feels like, what stability looks like. And it's hard to lose interest in a woman who brings that kind of peace. Calm strength also creates boundaries without threats. A woman who can say, this is what I expect, or this doesn't work for me, or I'm choosing peace over drama, in a composed tone, makes a man realize she's serious without her ever needing to repeat it. Men can feel the difference between a reaction and a decision. A calm woman is speaking from decision, and decisions stick. What makes calm strength unforgettable is that it doesn't just tell a man something, it shows him something. It shows him she's in control of herself. It shows him she respects herself. It shows him she values her own peace enough to protect it. A woman like that doesn't get forgotten. She becomes the voice he hears long after the moment has passed, reminding him of the standard he now has to meet. Honesty mixed with respect makes a man listen in a way he never forgets, and that combination is something a lot of people underestimate. Honesty alone can be too sharp, too blunt, too cold. Respect alone can be too soft, too gentle, too easy to overlook. But when you blend the two together, you create a message that enters a man's mind and settles there. It doesn't attack him, but it also doesn't baby him. It tells the truth while preserving his dignity. And men remember moments where their dignity stayed intact, even when they were being corrected, challenged, or called higher. That balance gives a woman's voice a special power, a power he won't forget. See, men don't respond well to disrespect. The second they feel attacked, their ears close and their ego rises. They get defensive, not because they don't care, but because they feel unsafe. But when a woman chooses honesty wrapped in respect, she speaks to the man instead of speaking